Alrighty, so we are going to talk really quickly in our last video for February Faith Formation. We are going to go over the 2 activities that have come home for you, as well as the 2 projects that we have for during Lent. So the first activity that came home for you is your 3 Pillars of Lent worksheet. So each of these is going to take you through a couple of questions about each of the 3 pillars: fasting, prayer, and almsgiving. And it's going to ask you to kind of make a plan for how you are going to do all of those pillars. So your parents have one too, by the way, in their parent packet. So for example, for fasting, it says for the first one, I will eat simpler meals. So for me, that means that I'm not going to eat any desserts or dessert-like snacks. I will not complain about my food. So for some of you that might be, I'm not going to complain about the taste. I'm not going to complain about, if we're eating a meal that's not my absolute favorite. For me, I have my biggest complaint with things is portions. I know that I'm not like the biggest lady in the world, but I like to eat and eat and eat and eat. So for me, not complaining about my food has to do with portions. So I'm going to accept smaller portions and give myself smaller portions, and I'm not going to complain about not eating or not getting to eat a larger amount of foods that I really enjoy. Also for fasting, I will abstain from, stay away from, avoid doing. For me, what I'm giving up for Lent is 2 things. I'm going to stop listening to music in my car. Instead, I am going to use my Hallow app, and I am just going to listen to homilies, prayers, Bible readings, things like that while I'm in my car. And I'm also, I have 2 small children at home. I do not curse very often, but sometimes I do, and I'm going to try during Lent to not curse at all, even when I'm by myself. During prayer, I will pray for this special intention. Think about something that is special to you that you would like to pray for. For example, my son has autism. He has special needs, and I would like to pray for kids and adults who have special needs, who need extra assistance or are differently abled, and also for their families and caretakers. I know that sometimes that is stressful. It can be frustrating. It can be sad. It can be difficult and trying. So I really want to pray for strength and happiness and motivation for those families. I will reflect on the life of Jesus. So try to think about something that Jesus did, or something that Jesus, some behavior or attitude that he had that you think was really great and that you want to think about and try to do in your own life. So for me, my reflection is that his sacrifice is so much bigger than the sacrifices I make in my life, and his suffering is so much bigger than my suffering. So to try to remember when I'm feeling overwhelmed or sorry for myself, or his life is so hard today, that it's really not that hard. And I will spend quiet time in God's presence. Think about what you would like to do to spend more time in prayer. So do you want to read a few chapters of the Bible every day? Do you want to set aside 10 minutes in the morning and at night to pray? So for me, I'm going to be doing daily devotions, which I'll talk about more at the end of this video. For almsgiving, I'm going to give money to the Response to Love charity. I'm going to collect goods for St. Luke's charity. And I'm going to teach people to build their relationship with God. And I'm going to do that through, again, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, those daily devotions. So think about ways that you can answer these questions for yourself, things that are important to you, things that you are able to reasonably do in your own life, and make a plan for yourself for Lent. Next thing we have is this nifty little guy here. So you got a sheet in your packet that looks like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this bottom part up and crease it on this line here. And that will give you this pocket. You're gonna put staples on each side and then also in the middle here. And then you have a sheet that looks like this. There's 3 extras that you're going to think of. 3 extra things that you would like to pray for, 3 extra things you can fast from, 3 extra things that you can give away or donate. Once you've thought of those things and written them down, you'll cut all of these little strips out and then you'll put them in the correct pocket. You can put this up in your home somewhere, and then every day you can either pick out one of each or just one and maybe rotate them. And that'll give you a little something extra to do, like forgive, write a kind note to someone. Fasting, eat a simple meal today, or go last in line. For praying, pray for people who are sick. So it'll just give you a few extra ideas on a daily basis for extra little Lenten things that you can do during Lent. Also coming home with you guys today, that you got in your packets, I should say, is a calendar that I ordered. So if you are in grades 1 through 6, you have a calendar that looks like this. And if you are a teenager or an adult, you have a calendar that looks like this. So each of the calendars has a short little couple sentences for each day of Lent. Sometimes it is a Bible verse to just read and think about. Sometimes it is a longer passage where it tells you read this whole passage from the Bible and then you would have to go and look it up. Sometimes it is saying, hey, go do this today or go think about this today. Like I'm looking here for the kids one for March 19th. Encourage someone today and pay someone a compliment. There'll be activities that you can do, like March 25th, draw a picture of yourself with Jesus. So some of the days will have a little bit longer activity that might take 10 minutes or so. Some of the days will just be, short, you have one sentence to read or a Bible verse to read and just think about throughout the day. The adult calendar is the same. It's just a little bit more involved and a little bit more thought related. It's meant to provoke thought and to help you think deeply about the qualities of the Lenten season and about repentance and penance and how Jesus can help you through. So, for example, on April 13th, it says, what seas do you need Jesus to navigate for you right now? What troubles or storms are you walking through that you need him to help you with, that you can pray to him about? So it's a little bit more thought related. Lastly, if you would participate in that, we have a Facebook page. I will have the link written in this Google form. Our Facebook page is at SFARELED, at SFARELED. The page is St. Francis of Assisi Parish. I am going to go live twice a day on the parish Facebook page. I am going to do a daily devotional. One is for families and kids. One is going to be for older teens and adults. They're each going to only be about 5 minutes long. There's going to be a story or a quick paragraph outlining a topic for the day, some Bible verses that go along with it, and a short prayer. So I am committing to, as I would like to do more daily devotionals during the Lenten season, as an added thing that I'm going to be doing every day, I thought that I would share them all with you so that if you wanted to have the same habit or try to do daily devotionals as well but don't know where to start, please join me on the Facebook page as often as you can. Listen to the devotional, comment, share it on your own personal page if you want to, so that other people can interact and participate. We're going to try to get as many people as possible doing these daily devotionals together, praying together, and really focusing on really important topics for the Lenten season together. So I hope that you will all participate with your families, and hopefully I will see you virtually during the Lenten season. Thank you, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the February month and a wonderful start to Lent on March 2nd.